One of the things we see in our world is oppression that comes from rich and powerful people over poor people. And Solomon tells us it's going to happen. I'm reading this morning from Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province. So if you see this, and you're going to, it was happening in Solomon's day, it happens in our day, when you see this. So how do we react? What should we do when we experience these things? He says, marvel not at the matter. Don't be surprised when you see it. In other words, you need to know. Don't go through life like a goose. And when you find out that there's oppression from rich and powerful people over poor people, don't be surprised when you see it. Okay? It happens right here in the state of Texas. It happens in our country. It happens all over the world. He goes on to say, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. So, you might be in a powerful position and you are taking advantage of someone under you, but you've always got to remember there's somebody higher than you. And ultimately, the highest, that's God himself, he regards it. The eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the earth to show himself strong on behalf of those who fully trust him. But he also sees all the oppression, all the injustice, all the sin. Not only does he see those things, but he records those things in books. And someday, these people are going to have to answer for those things. They might not have to answer this Friday, but they're going to have to answer. And so what Solomon is trying to get us to do is to say, look, don't be shocked and surprised when you see these things. Instead, it should cause us to live our lives differently. We don't want to do this. We don't want to play this game. We don't want to get involved in the layers of bureaucracy that we see in so many institutions, be it government or big business or whatever, where we get to a point where it's okay now for us to look down on others, for it's okay for us to regard ourselves as being more important than others, and if somebody else doesn't get a fair shake, oh well. That's not what God wants. Instead, God wants us to understand that we all serve him and that we will answer to him. And so we should not be surprised when we see these things. Instead, we should allow this to turn us to prayer, to cry out to God on behalf of those that are oppressed and that are being treated violently for their situation in life by more powerful people that are just exploiting them and taking advantage of them. The next verse says this. It says, moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field. Most of the time, an old king or someone in power who is oppressing people is oppressing agricultural workers. That's kind of the lowest strata of society many times is just the poor, lowly person who's working on the farm. The funny thing about that is that as this king is taking advantage of this farm worker, that king needs to eat the food that's being grown in that farm. You see, the wealth of this earth comes from this earth, from mining, from lumber, from agriculture. This is where wealth comes from. These raw materials that this earth produces, we need them. We all need them, from the poorest of us to the greatest of us. And God has given them to us all. The wealth of the earth is for everyone, he says. The profit of the earth is for all. And so for somebody to oppress others, what they're not realizing is that they actually need what's coming from the work that those folks do. I always get tickled. We heard recently, we live in the information age now. Agriculture is this menial thing. Anybody can do that, drop a seed in the ground. And I have to laugh and I say, well, just eat information. Build your house out of information. Put information in your car so that you can drive down the road to go to your next meeting. No, you can't eat that. The profit of this earth, it's for all of us. God wants for us to share. So whatever you do, make sure you're not on the wrong side of this thing. God sees, God knows. Trust God and pray for those who are being oppressed, and don't be the oppressor. God bless you. Have a great day.